Good morning, everyone. Am I on? Am I on? Okay. I can't hear myself, but anyway. Did you notice that we are a community? Okay. We come together, now I hear myself. We come together to share a vision. And we come together to enjoy the warmth and the security and the love that happens when we work together to envision and to make that vision happen in the world. It's a very special thing. As part of that, we choose leadership to help us do the right things, to continue to make Golden Gate the right place for us to expand that vision in the world. We have our senior minister, Reverend Carol, our staff ministers, our practitioners, our core council, and we expect certain things of leadership, characteristics and qualities such as integrity and wisdom. So today, I'd like to talk about the difference between being smart, which is good, versus being wise, which is better. And then the highest form of wisdom, which is the best. And believe me, we'll end up with our values. But let's start with talking about being smart, being intelligent. Smart people, to put it simply, have a lot of facts, have a lot of data. They collect information. They know things. They know how things work. They even know the definitions for words. They can complete crossword puzzles in pen. They know dates, they can cite quotes. I remember back when I used to be smart, I crammed for tests. I would stuff myself full of all the information from the books and the class notes that I took so that I could regurgitate all that information back for the teacher so I could pass the test and then get on with my life. Did I remember all that stuff? Not so much. And perhaps I'm being a little simplistic in talking about smart people and data and facts. Because, knowledge, being a knowledgeable person, knowledge is a good thing. We do need to have facts to navigate the world. We need to understand signs in order to know how to function, how to operate in the world, how to stay safe. Now here's a fact. The pedal on the right is the accelerator, the pedal on the left is a brake. We need to know these things, right? And smart people can tell you things. They can explain things. How do planes fly? Why is the sky blue? How does my cell phone work? And why doesn't this one work when I press that button? And maybe the more information I have, the more data I can put into that database I call my memory, the smarter I might seem. But does that make me wise? Maybe and maybe not. I'd like to share an interesting quote with you. Knowledge speaks, but wisdom listens. You might be surprised who said that. Jimi Hendrix. I know, I was surprised. It wasn't Ernest Holmes. Knowledge speaks, but wisdom listens. So knowledge is good, but now we're moving from good to better. Because wisdom is knowledge with an extra ingredient. That extra ingredient is being open. Because listening infers an openness to more possibility, more ideas, more experiences, more voices. Most importantly, it means being open to inviting others into the conversation that expands the sphere and enlarges the sphere of connection and community so that it deepens and diversifies. It enriches and enriches and enriches what's happening, so that there is not just one note. There's a lot of things going on. So you might want to look at the analogy or metaphor, I forget which it is because I'm not that smart. Facts could be seen as single, individual, very beautiful and pristine notes, musical notes, where wisdom is like a symphony, where all of those notes are synchronized, synthesized, and integrated into something whose final result is so much greater than the sum of those individual parts. That's a lot better. Wisdom. One of my favorite writers is Howard Thurman. I don't know if many of you are familiar with him, but I'd like to read something from Howard Thurman called The Wisdom of God. Knowledge abounds on every hand by which my steps may be guided. Facts, facts, facts. They are everywhere about me. I know with my mind the meaning of many choices that I make. Besides, there are many sources upon which I may draw for information that will be the raw material of my decisions. But facts are not the heart of my need. I need wisdom, the quality that will make clear to me the significance, the relatedness of things that are a part of my daily experience. This I lack. I need wisdom to cast a slow and steady radiance over all my landscape in order that things, choices, deeds may be seen in their true light, the light of the eternal and the timeless, the wisdom of God. How can I abide without it? If that is withdrawn, then I am forced to lean on my own understanding or the understanding and opinion of others. The wisdom of God can flood even the error of my ways and transform my error into a path of light. This I know. Therefore, the wisdom of God is my abiding strength. So now we are leaping from better to best. And to talk about best, I want to go back to something he said about wisdom making clear the significance of the relatedness of things. Wisdom also makes clear the relatedness of people. The relatedness of people. This is a special wisdom. And now we're moving from the wisdom of the head to the wisdom of the heart. And this is called compassion. And compassion is our deepest nature. Regardless of those who might say it's a dog-eat-dog world out there, and nice guys finish last. That is not so. Compassion arises from our interconnectedness with all things. And when we listen, when we stop talking, when we admit to what we don't know, when we invite others into our conversation, we lift the veils of ignorance that keep us in separation, that sense of duality that is such an illusion. And compassion arises when we see the human situation clearly. And we see the oneness that is the ground of everything that is happening. Example. Let's say I am just coming out of Safeway and I've got a huge bag of groceries, which often happens. And I'm hurrying to get home. And I can't see because I've got this bag of groceries, and I'm hurrying and somebody bumps into me really hard and down everything goes. And my milk spills and my tomatoes fall and they go splat, and I'm really angry. And I'm going, what's the matter with you? God, what, are you blind? And I look up and the person who bumped into me is blind. And he too has dropped everything and actually has fallen. And immediately I move from my anger into, oh my God, I am so sorry. Can I help you? Life is like that. We move in blindness because we are self-absorbed and we move in haste. But the minute we get out of that and we truly see each other, our first impulse is, may I help you? Are you hurt? Now, it would be foolish to ignore the aggressive aspects of human nature, but the opposite and more powerful truth of who we are is that our individual lives, and indeed society as a whole, is built upon innumerable acts of kindness and interdependence. And if religious science teaches anything, it teaches oneness. One mind, one life, one love, one consciousness, one. In fact, in our Science of Mind textbook, somewhere it says, 1, all in caps. Okay, got it. Yes, each of us is unique. The divine creator expresses itself through each of us with a unique personality, and yet, underlying that, there is this oneness that unifies and unites us absolutely. Ernest Holmes. This is from 1996, a Holmes Reader on Practical Wisdom. Compassion and caring are the ties that bind us together in mutual understanding and in the unified attempt to uncover the divinity in each other. Compassion is the most gentle of all human virtues, for it is the outpouring of the divine givingness through all. Compassion, love, caring. The solitary, isolated human being is a contradiction in terms. It doesn't exist. If I harm you, I harm myself. And at a very deep subconscious level, I know this. I know this. When I see you suffer, my heart responds. Because we are connected in consciousness. Through spiritual practices, we deepen this recognition. One of the things that here at Golden Gate we dedicate ourselves to is offering spiritual practices, classes, workshops. This afternoon, Leslie Giannetti, our practitioner, is offering a workshop in spiritual mind treatment, our affirmative form of prayer. That stuff works. As we deepen in things like prayer and meditation, we begin to expand our capacity to feel compassion for others. And we begin to wrap our hearts around more people and include strangers in what we call our family. So that our oneness is not just in mind, but in heart. Our interconnectedness is not a concept, but a calling. And it begins to integrate itself into our actions, not just our words. And that is what spiritual growth and living the principles of science of mind is all about. That's why we're here, is to live, love, care, and be compassionate beings to each other. I find it fascinating that this is not just a metaphysical truth. The Creator did a real number on us. There is a neurological basis for compassion and empathy. There is a class of brain cells called, what are they called? Oh yeah, mirror neurons. I see somebody nodding out there who somebody's already familiar with this. Through these mirror neurons, which fire in every social encounter, we actually feel others' emotions, movements, and intentions. We are hardwired for empathy. So body, mind, spirit, compassion is our most fundamental nature. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah. So, and we don't have to do great things to make this happen. We don't have to be Mother Teresa. We don't even have to be the Dalai Lama. We can simply be ourselves to manifest this. Jack Kornfield says, the things that matter most in our lives are not fantastic or grand. They are the moments when we touch one another, when we are there in the most attentive or caring way. This simple and profound intimacy is the love that we all long for, the love that Posey sang about. When we come home to ourselves and to each other. Mother Teresa put it like this: in this life we cannot do great things, we can only do small things with great love. I know in a busy life as a minister, if I'm really wrapped up in doing something. The most wonderful times are when somebody comes to me to say, can we talk? And I drop everything. And I'm simply sitting there with someone. And my heart opens. And I don't know what they get, but I get everything. You know? And in a practical way, the highest form of wisdom is compassion because it preserves us. It preserves the self, it preserves others, it preserves society at large. But not only does it preserve, it expands and it nurtures. It creates more. Again, there's that extra ingredient of the more. Without it, babies will not thrive, nor shall we. And there is something called the Bodhisattva's vow that is, I would say, perhaps a wonderful ideal example of what compassion and caring means. And I'd like to read it to you as we kind of come to a close for this as an example of what we strive to be for each other. Okay. Oh, other side. Here we go. Now, the Bodhisattva is a Sanskrit word for a being who is devoted to awakening and to acting for the benefit of all that lives. So if you don't mind, if you're comfortable with doing so, please close your eyes. And if you're not comfortable, fine. But let yourself just absorb this idea. May I be a guard for those who need protection, a guide for those on the path, a boat, a raft, a bridge for those who wish to cross the flood. May I be a lamp in the darkness, a resting place for the weary, a healing medicine for all who are sick, a vase of plenty, a tree of miracles. And for the boundless multitudes of living beings, may I bring sustenance and awakening, enduring like the earth and sky, until all beings are freed from sorrow and all are awakened. May we cast our blessings and our shade and our love upon each other. We start here in community and we bring it out in the world. What I know is that in this time when there seems to be a lot of division and a lot of hatred and a lot of violence, in places like Virginia, we can be that place of love and wisdom and compassion. We can feel our outrage and anger and then let it move through us and then return to that place of love and blessing and hold everyone in their suffering with our love and anchor something bigger and better and invite the more, the greater, the potential of something more beautiful in our heart. That is what our values are all about. That is why we're here. That is what we teach. And as Ernest Holmes said, sometimes it is far easier to teach the truth than it is to practice it. But by God, we're going to practice it. That's what we commit to, and that's why I'm here, and that's why you're here. And let us make that commitment, shall we? Thank you very much. Namaste.